Hi, my name is Sonia Romero, and welcome to my studio. Here's my computer station where I spend hours working. My flat files have my bigger editions inside, stored here. There's some more flat files. We've got linoleum cuts in here, paper cuts, print editions, handmade stamps, public art designs, everything stored in here. And the larger paintings are stored upstairs. Well, this studio actually has a lot of history for me. My parents built it around when I was maybe two years old. I grew up here in this house. We used to have art sales here every holiday season when I was a kid, and I started selling my work in those art sales when I was like 6 or 7 years old. So I've been, in the business for quite a while. I actually have some of my old stuff in here in this drawer. Here's something from childhood. Ooh, look at this. My uncle gave me this doll, China doll. I didn't like dolls when I was a kid, so I took the head off. I thought that was cooler. Well, I always wanted to be a professional artist. I never, some people don't know what they want to be. I never had a doubt in my mind of what I wanted to be. These are years of projects. Like this one, for instance, was a design for a tile mural in Artesia as part of the background. So this is all hand-cut paper cut with an X-Acto knife. Oh, these are some old monoprint stencils, also hand-cut paper. They're colored because they were printed with colors in the printing press. This is my grandmother from the Boyle Heights mural. She lived there on her wedding day. This cabinet was actually my grandmother's on my mother's side, Edith Wiley. Edith Wiley was also an artist at one time in her life before she started the Craft and Folk Art Museum on Wilshire. See what else do we want to show? One of my public artworks is in Little Tokyo, so these are from that project. Here's Richard Duardo, portrait I did of him after he died, artist. And here are some more figures from Artesia. So I create these works by getting a piece of black cardstock, and I draw on the back with a white pencil. I do the drawing on the back, I work on this side, and after I finish the drawing, I cut it out with an X-Acto knife. It's pretty simple. And then when you turn it over, you have this nice graphic work you can use for other projects. But I've also made these into steel, laser cut steel pieces. I've made them into tiles, and I've made them into paintings and monoprints. So I'm a printmaker, and this is a very unusual print that I did at Self-Help Graphics in 2015 for their Day of the Dead celebration. There's 50 of these that are all the same, but it's laser etched wood in the background, and then laser cut plexiglass for the butterfly that's bent to be a little bit dimensional. But the way that I designed this was originally the skull was a linoleum cut, and I just happened to have that here, which is kind of fun to see. So this is the original linoleum cut I made for the skull. And then the butterfly was made as a paper cut, like I just showed you, and was replicated in plexiglass. And it's kind of fun because usually when you purchase a print, you have to buy a frame, but this is ready to hang on the wall. And I hand painted the colors. My design aesthetic is printmaking influenced and mixed media. So I call my work something between a painting and a print. I like to mix things up, and that can sometimes be really awkward. Like sometimes when you're trying to work in two different mediums at the same time, it just doesn't work and it's really awkward. But then that's kind of where I live, in that really uncomfortable, awkward mix of mediums. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Okay, so right now I'm just sketching jacaranda flowers. And then here I have a kitten because it's cute and I thought I would draw it for fun. Sometimes you have to make art just for fun. And in order for me to get the flow of the jacaranda flower, I just practice it over and over again until I have it stored in my brain, and then I can just draw them from memory. But to start with, I use photo references, or I pick them off the floor during the season. The longest project I've ever worked on was the Mariachi Plaza metro station mural, which is called Hecho a Mano. And from start to finish, it was 5 years. Yeah. It's a mural showing a pattern of hands holding objects of significance that represent the neighborhood of Boyle Heights. Actually, this is an old mock-up for that mural. This was a model from Boyle Heights holding paintbrushes. Actually, this is the artist Lily Floor, who modeled for me one day. I didn't actually use this in the finished mural, but this was one of my initial designs. These are original paintings, but they're made using the printmaking process. So I printed all of the strawberries on paper and collaged them on top of the colors, which are painted. So these are the original linoleum cuts from my metro station in MacArthur Park, Westlake. And this was my very first public art permanent public art project I ever won in 2007. I won and it was finished in 2010. So for that project, I made 13 linoleum cuts. And these are the actual linoleum cuts, and they were translated into porcelain, hand-carved porcelain tile. So this is just a throwback, my first public art project ever, all linoleum. So this is what MacArthur Park used to look like back in the day. The finished artwork that came from these linoleum cuts is at MacArthur Park, Westlake Metro Station, underground in the mezzanine level. I also did a poster. This was my very first public art thing ever, but it wasn't permanent. It was just a poster, but it was for the city of Pomona, 2006. So this is a sample from my next public art project. It's in El Sereno. It's a tile mural that's going on Alhambra Avenue called El Sereno Serape. And this is one of around 3,000 tiles. P is for poodle, Q is for quetzal, R is for rhinoceros, S is for sheep, T is for tiger. The reason why I got into block printing and linoleum cut is because, well, first of all, I was a printmaking major at Rhode Island School of Design, but I was really more into lithography back then. But lithography is not that big here where I live. So when I graduated, I met Artemio Rodriguez he was at Self Help Graphics at that time. And I interned with him for a year. And during that time, I made this project, which is a linoleum cut alphabet book. I made this when I was 22. From A to Z. So during the year, I cut the alphabet out, A to Z, and by the time I got to Z, I had more or less mastered the medium of linoleum cut. And I continued using linoleum cut mixed media in my paintings for a number of years, and then the stamp material is kind of a spin off of that, and then as a spin off of that, I went to paper cut. This is some ink I'm going to roll out onto my brayer to get a smooth layer of ink to roll onto my lino cut. The kind of fun thing about printmaking is that you can design something one time and print multiples and use it in so many creative ways. I'm gonna get a piece of paper. All right, so if you wanna take a look here, there's the print of the bougainvillea. It's like printing money.
Hi, my name is Sonia Romero, and thanks for coming.